Hi everybody, and welcome to my channel, Jewelry Pirate. This is Barbara, and today I'm going to do a couple of repairs on some items. In front of me here I have a necklace. I hope I have everything out here that I need. I wanted to share some of my techniques with you guys, so in case you ever want to repair something, you have a reference to go back to look at what I do here. Trying to get this a little bit better in the thing here so that you can see what I'm going to be doing. Anyway, this is an item that Lisa had bought, and for some reason this was put on what they call tiger tail, and I don't know if you can see all too well, but it's all kinked, and that's what happens with tiger tail. You should never ever use tiger tail when you redo a necklace, a bracelet, or anything, or even when you string. A lot of people swear by it, but all you have to do is bend over and the wire bunches, you'll get a kink. What you really need to use is what they call flexible beading wire, and this is what I use here. It's made by Aileens. Now this is it's going to look almost the same, but it's not the same. Now this here wire has actually 7 strands in it, so it's very strong. Now this is flexible, but it's not as flexible as they make different wire with different amounts of wires inside. And the more wires that are inside, okay, the more flexible the wire is going to be. And this, even though these beads look like they're heavy, they're not real heavy, but all in all, when it's put together, it's going to have a little bit of weight together by the time I add all the goodies to it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to restring this, and I'm going to explain to you how I'm going to do it. I don't want to make this video really long because I have a couple other videos that I want to do, and I also want to show you a couple of items that I have, which I thought you'd get a kick out of. So this is one of the things that we're going to use, is this beading wire here. And I have a little baggie here someplace with mostly all my things. In here I have the clasp I'm going to use. I'm going to use this matching color toggle. I also have some crimp covers that are in here. And I also brought in, I'm trying to think where I put it. It's right here. I'm going to need to use some wire guards. Now, wire guards are wonderful because I brought the whole box out with me, and they come in different colors. Like I have, let me open this up. I have the silver, I have copper, I have antique copper, there's brass, and there's gold. And what these do is they give you extra, in other words, when your wire is out there and it's constantly being pulled on by your neck or whatever, the sweat around your neck. And by the way, it is miserable here today. It's 90 degrees, awful humidity. It feels like it's 100. So I went through a whole bunch of bags this morning, and I hope everybody that was supposed to get their packages got them. Lisa, yours is hopefully going to go out tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to get out today. I was going to go out yesterday, and it's the past 3 days. It's just been too hot. So Anyway, I will make it up to you for not getting it out to you sooner. And this is, I'm talking about Lisa D. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the wire. Now I'm going to need some glue, and again, this is the glue I use, the Aileens, the Ultimate, and I'm going to need a couple of pliers, and these are, well, wait a minute, I have a cutter here. And then I have 2 pairs of these pliers here. And I'll tell you what they are in a minute as soon. I can't even think, it's so hot. So I'm going to take this wire off of the spool. And I'm going to take probably about 1.5 times the length of this necklace. All right, and I'm going to cut a piece of this wire. Okay, I have that done. And what's nice about this wire, I want to get that up there, is they have these little things on them, so it's not going to come off, unravel off the spool on you. You just have to wrap this back up, put this thing on here, and then I'm just going to take and I'm going to wrap that, keep going, and what it'll do is it'll wrap that right onto the thing. All right, I'm missing one thing here. They're here. I brought them out with me. I just got to figure out where they are. Something that makes life a little bit easier. Oh. I wonder how's the weather where everybody else is. It's miserable here. Well, I can't find them right this second. I thought I brought everything out. All right. Knowing me, they probably fell on the floor. All right, so what I want to do is I want to make that large bead that you see right here. Okay, I want to make that my center bead on this necklace. And I'm going to take from one end, trying to put this thing together here. Everything is here except for those little bead buds. All right, so I'm going to start. What I did before I began is I laid this all out, the beads that had fallen off, and this is where I'm going to start from, and I'm going to take all these beads and I'm going to go all the way around. All right, and I'm going to take and I'm going to put the big bead on first. Trying to get it to go through. These are weird beads. Come on, baby. All right, so I'm trying to get this to go all the way through. And it's hard to get the wire to line up with the hole. There we go. Well, I thought it was. Let me try the other side of the wire. All you need is a little tiny curve in the wire, and it's not going to go all the way through. Okay, so I have this on here now, and I'm going to take, here's the bead buds. These are little things called bead buds. And what they're going to do is they're going to keep your work from falling off of your wire. So you just put one of these little things on, you squeeze them and you stick them on. All right. I have to determine where the middle of this is, but I'm going to start to load these beads on. All right. And I tried to go by the pattern that already existed. And again, we're going to have problems with these old antique looking beads because of the way the holes are. Let me snip this a little bit more, see if I can get this a little straighter. There we go. Let's try that now. I want to get it started, and once I have it started, then I will move on and come back to it when we have, this one's going to be a bitch, where we have it ready to go. Let me see if I can get this to straighten out better. As long as you have that bend in that wire, it's hard to get it to go all the way through the bead. Well, it's not really a bend, it's just that the wire is, you know, from being on the spool, it's got a little thing going on here. Okay, got that one on. All right. And I'm going to load probably a few of these beads. See, the inside of these beads have an edge on them. So sometimes when you go in, you pick up the edge rather than getting through to the hole. So that causes a problem. All right, here's another one of these crazy ones. This one's not quite as big, but here we go. I hope you can see. These are nice glass beads that are on here, and these are old antique style, probably Bali type beads, but they're older. Okay, so now that's the beads that were loose. Okay, so this is what I have. You can see it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come from the other side till I have the same thing. I'm going to take the bead bud off, and I'm going to put that over here. All right, and I'm going to load the same beads going in this direction now to the other side. And once I do that, once I have all that, then I'm going to go back. I'm going to do the magic of photography here, and I will go and I will get all of this strung and then come back and show you how we finish the necklace off. So just keep an eye on, I'm trying to establish the pattern that the necklace has. So you want to make sure that you do the same pattern, okay, that you have on the other side, so that you're putting the same beads going in the same direction. All right, this bead here is on the opposite side. All right, and you're going to check to make sure that this is a little bead, and I'm putting this little tiny bead. These are nice glass beads. Okay, and where am I at here? All right, so I have that. Now I need a small bead. Do I? Yes. Oh, wait a minute, I already have a small bead. I need this bead here. All right. Okay. Next one is one of these wide ones. Wide beads. And then the next one is going to be this here. Okay, so I have most of the pattern now. All right, everything else that's left is on the strand that's here. So let me cut this off. Not cut it off, but put you on hold. And I will get the remainder of this all strung, and we will come back and finish the necklace. Okay, just a little update here. I've got this much strung. All right, there's my center bead. And this is what I have left to string. Okay, now if you see where these two beads come together here, that is the joining point. So that's going to be where I'm going to put my clasp. What they did here is they just took and they melted the strings. Okay, there was no clasp on this. I don't know how it broke, but it did. All right, so now I just have to go on and work from each end to this point. And then I'll be back and we'll finish off this beading project. Okay, I have everything wired up here. I just had to get a couple of crimp beads. And we're going to finish this necklace off. I have the wire guards here. And I got to get the clasp out that I need. All right, this and the other end of this. This is a really nice clasp. It goes well with it. And then I need to, since I'm using the gold crimp beads, they need Crimp Covers, which I usually put on anyway because it does a really nice job of finishing. I have some silver crimp beads in this little plastic bag here, but they're awful tiny. So, all right, there's my Crimp Covers. All right, this is all strung. And I had put, I'm going to cut a little bit of this off. Okay, and first thing I have to do is I have to put a crimp bead on. Okay. All right. And you're going to need a crimping tool. So I have that right here. This is a crimping tool, and I'll show you how to use that in a minute. All right. And the other thing we're going to have to put on here now is the wire guard. So I'm going to take, this is the wire guard, and they're very tiny. I don't know if you can see what they look like, but I'm going to put this through here. I'm very shaky today. Okay, you see this just has a little piece of metal that's going to keep the stress and strain off of the wire itself through normal everyday wear and tear. Now I got to get that back down there. All right. Now, whenever you crimp, you have to make sure that you get the wires side by side. Very important. All right, and I'm going to take and put both of those wires back through that crimp bead. And I'm going to push that up tight against that wire guard. All right, I don't know if you can see this. It's right there, and the wires are side by side. Now I'm going to take the crimp tool, and I'm going to go into the back part. There's two parts of this crimp tool. There's the back part and the front part. I'm going to go into the back part of the crimp tool, grab that crimp bead. I'm going to push it up to the wire guard, and I'm going to squeeze that down. Okay, making sure that I'm keeping those wires side by side. And now I'm going to go into the front part, and I'm just fold that over. Okay, so now that's folded over itself. That's not going to go anywhere. Now, we're going to put on our crimp cover. All right, I'm going to take a little dab of this glue and put that on that crimp bead. All right. I got a little bit too much on there, so I'm going to grab some of that off. All right. And then I'm going to set that crimp cover over that crimp bead. Like so. There we go. It's hard. I got goop all over my hands. And then I'm going to take these are chain nose pliers, by the way, and I'm going to close that crimp cover up, just like so. All right, so now I have some extra stuff here. I'm going to take, and I'm going to bring some of this back through. All right, and then I'm going to cut the end of this off right here. So that stuff is going to be all hidden inside of that. So now you can see that we have a crimp cover that's covering the crimp bead. Just want to make sure that's on there good. All right, now we're going to do the other side. Same thing, and I will do that and come back to you. One thing I wanted to say is that you never want to make the necklace really completely tight. I haven't gotten that crimped yet. You always want to make sure there's a little bit of play in between the beads, because that's one of the things that'll cause your pieces to break. So now I'm going to do the crimping on this. Put this in the back part of the crimper. Again, making sure that those wires were together. And we're going to take and we're going to put it in the front. And what that does, putting it in the front, it makes it fold over itself. All right, and then that will not move or go anywhere. Okay, put those to the side. We're going to get our little dab will do you. All right, and put that on there. That just helps to keep that crimp bead in place. And then we're going to take the crimp cover. And we're going to slide that over the crimp bead. Sometimes it's not always the easiest thing to do. All right, so that's in there. That crimp bead now is in that cover. All right, and I'm just going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to cover that up. All right, make sure that that's on there good. Okay, again, we're going to take this and we're going to attempt to go through a couple more beads. We got it through that one. All right, and then I'm going to put it through this black bead here.
Hope the effects that you're still feeling today.
I can't take a deep breath anymore. The more I talk, and the more I breathe, the more I talk. I'm on the 11 pills a day, 12 hits on 3 different inhalers a day, nebulizer 3 times a day. I've had 2 major surgeries, one on my sinus area and a major operation on my trachea, my bronchial tubes, my lungs, my bronchial tubes on my right side spinal cord. I'm alive. I'm alive. I try to spend with my kids and with my family. Many of my friends didn't have that opportunity.
Okay, pull that through, get my cutters, and we're going to cut that down as close as we can to that bead. Okay, here's our necklace. So the only thing that we have left to do now is to put the clasp on, and that's the easiest thing. So we'll do that next. Put my bead buds together. Let me get these extra pieces in here. If you have any questions about any of this, I'm trying to do this and trying to watch the camera at the same time. It's not easy. All right. So now we have to take and put a jump ring, and there's one on here already. I'm going to open up the jump ring. I'm going to use both pliers, and this is where the space is in the jump ring right here. And I'm going to grab one side, and I'm going to twist in opposite directions out. Okay, so there's a space. I'm going to put the wire guard on there, and I'm going to do the same movement, only in the opposite direction, bringing those two pieces together. Never, ever pull apart. You will never get the jump ring ever to close back up again. All right, so we have one piece on there. All right, let's put the other one on. And
I don't want to make you talk much more, but you did.
all right, same thing. The opposite what you just did, just bring them together. I like to give them a little squeeze on top. And that's it. So the tools that I used in this were the bead buds, chain nose pliers, a crimping tool, and this is a cutter to cut your wire. This one happens to be a Martha Stewart one. I have much better ones than that, but that was good enough. Now this just came out of here, so I got to put that back. I'll do that later. Okay. All right. And you need the flexible beading wire. Please, no tiger tail. You need crimp covers, crimp beads, wire guards, and the flexible beading wire, which is this right here, made by Aileens. Now you can also use these. These are also by Aileens, and these are called Easy Crimps. And this will the same thing as a wire guard, but you go up and come back down. I prefer the little bit more harder work, I find that they hold better. These hold well too. You're going to put a little bit of glue in there. And it's already got a jump ring on it, so you already have something to attach. What these ones are very good for, say if you have a necklace that you got recently and it's broken, and you do have a little bit of string or a little bit of wire still left, and you're trying to figure out how you can fix it to use it, these easy crimp ends will make your life a lot easier. You put this on, and then you take a little jump ring and hook your clasp or whatever on. These work well for that because you don't need a lot of string or wire to make it work. All right, so I think that's everything. Oh, and the glue. Okay, this is the glue that I use, and all these other tools. And this is your necklace, Lisa S. It's all done. Finally, okay, very pretty necklace. Nice clasp. Really done nice. And as you can see, there is a little play. Not a lot, just enough that's going to turn around and keep this where it's flexible and that it's not going to kink upon itself. All right, so that's all finished. Let's bag that up. And then I got a couple of cute things I want to show you. Maybe I'll show you two in this video, and I'll show you a couple in the next video. All right, put these here, over here for now. Let me put these in a little spare baggie. Okay, so put all this stuff away. Make a pile over here. The bead buds. These usually come in a package of about 6, I think, and they come in small size, and they also come in a large size. These are really a lifesaver when you're stringing beads, but you can also use a piece of Scotch tape. All right. All right, so there's that. We'll mark that for Lisa. That's all done. All right, I have a necklace that I want to show you. It's a wooden necklace. It's not for sale, but this is nice. Now, I think that these here are acrylic. All right. But take a look at this little guy here. You see him? That's a little turtle. And it has a little thing where you can put pills in it. It's one of my favorite pieces. One of these days, I think I'm going to try to get a necklace that would be suitable for the beauty of this piece, because this piece, I think it's ebony wood. It's very, very nice, and that's all carved out and everything in there, and you can see all the work that was done in this. Very nice. All right, I wanted to share that with you. That was a piece when I was going in and getting the stuff off of the table in there. I found these 2 pieces, and I wanted to show them to you. And then I have a couple more I'm going to show you in the next video. And this one here, this is a Kendra Scott. I don't have too many delicate necklaces, but I do have this one. All right, it's very, very, very pretty. And it's signed here. And there's the thing. So I think this is probably only one of 2 of Kendra Scott's that I have in my my collection, my stash. Usually when I wear stuff, I go all the way. I go big and I go bold. So, okay, I just wanted to show you those, but I have something really special to show you in the next video. And that'll be coming along soon. And I mean really soon. I just have to do a couple things and then I will be doing that video for you. Okay, everybody, I want to thank you for coming in and watching. I hope that this might have helped you. Do a thumbs up. My hands are filthy from all the glue and also from that nasty chocolate donut that I enjoyed earlier this morning. Oh, I want to show you this also. This is a ring that I have that's artisan made. Reed bought this for me many years ago at a craft fair. It's really a beautiful piece. I love it. The woman looks so serene on there. And they unfortunately didn't have my size in the ring. And I wanted it so bad. I'm trying to look at the artisan's name on here. But I talked to him when I bought it. But it's brass. And I think the band is sterling silver. And it's just very, very, very nice. I mean, look how nice and serene that lady looks. Okay, everybody. All right. Let me get this video loaded up so you can see it. Again, thumbs up. Share if you're watching for the first time. Subscribe if you can, please. And also, don't forget to hit the notification bell in case you'd like to be informed when I upload a new video. And again, as usual, stay safe, stay healthy, and above all, stay happy. I love all you guys, and thank you for coming in and spending some time with me today. And bye.